And George stood back in a very neutral fashion and asked the elderly lady, "What about the F?" And the elderly lady looked at George and said, "But there is no F in cod." The art of facilitation. I'm going to take you through a journey, through a story on the importance of organizational and project facilitation techniques. And the only way that I can bring this through is through a comical story. Now, there's a fishmonger. Owns a beautiful fish shop looking over the ocean, and February of the year, there's a massive cod run. And his trawlers are out in the ocean, and they are catching masses of cod. Obviously, when there's volume and there is demand, we can sell at a cheaper cost. So the fishmonger decides for the next week, going to be selling cod for $1 a kilogram, which is unheard of. It is the cheapest that one would ever find cod, even over the past 20 years. So what he does with his charge hand, they go and put boards all the way down the road to where their trawler landing bay is, and they write on the chalkboard the price and directing all of their clients to their shop. And the first day goes by and they sell all of their cod within the first 2 hours. So now they see the opportunity. The next day, they put a few more boards, they brace it out into some other roads, and they bring in the cod early in the morning, and the sales start again. The same as the previous day, and they are selling masses of the cod. High volume, making huge profits. At about 5 to 5 in the afternoon, just before they're about to close, there's no more cod left in the shop. They're busy cleaning up and getting ready to go. And an elderly lady walks into the shop and asks for 5 kilograms of cod. So the fishmonger says to the elderly lady, "Well, there is no more cod. They sold out. The next batch will be coming in tomorrow morning. And if she comes again, they will make sure that they provision the 5 kilograms for her." And the elderly lady is very insistent and says she's walked all the way up this road, followed all of the boards, and wants her 5 kilograms of cod. Now, there is no cod, and the fishmonger's explaining and tries to be as creative as he can. He says to the elderly lady, "I will come and personally deliver the 5 kilograms of cod to you in the morning from the first batch. So it'll be the freshest." The elderly lady stands her point, stands her ground, says that your advertising boards are still up, and as long as those advertising boards are displayed, I want my cod. It gets to 25 to 7 in the evening, and they are still trying to resolve the issue. The elderly lady won't leave. The fishmonger is trying to explain, and there is a non-compromise taking place. Now, in the back of the fishmonger's store was a guy by the name of George. And George was cleaning up and getting ready. Now, that evening, George had a blind date. And he was looking forward to this blind date and needed to get out because his blind date was 8 o'clock. And he had to get out. Fortunately, George had been trained on a course in the art, science and application of facilitation techniques. So George decided he's going to neutrally facilitate the resolution of this issue. So George went over to the fishmonger and the elderly lady where they were having their conversation, and intervened and suggested that he can resolve the issue through a facilitation technique, and we can all go home, and the problem would be resolved and they could carry on tomorrow. And the fishmonger was happy, and the elderly lady was a little bit hesitant, had heard of facilitation and thought, okay, we'll give it a chance. So George asked the elderly lady to spell cod. And the elderly lady looked at George and said, "Don't insult my intelligence. Asking me to spell cod is rather ridiculous. How is this going to solve a problem?" And George said, "As a professional facilitator, follow my process, and we will get to resolution within the next half a minute." He said, "Please, ma'am, can you spell cod?" And the elderly lady, again reluctantly and hesitantly, said, "Okay, C-O-D." And George said, "Thank you very much, ma'am. Just want to make sure we're 100% clear. Can you just expel cod again?" And she said, C-O-D. And George stood back in a very neutral fashion and asked the elderly lady, "What about the F?" And the elderly lady looked at George and said, "But there is no F in cod." And George said to the fishmonger and the elderly lady, "But that's what he's been trying to tell you for the last 2 hours." As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, facilitation is the best way of collaborating, listen to both sides of points of view, and reaching a resolution through very, very clever, articulated tools and techniques. Now, please follow my channel and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next KEF Talks.